They often ask, they said, where did the Caucasian get his etiquette from? Where did the Caucasian's etiquette come from? They was wondering, you see. They never knew because they never was told. They watch storybooks. They have a lot of heroes and people that look like them, so-called look like them. You see, you have the stench of others, you see, who made it through the bio transition, you see, and got here into the world, mixed breeded, you see, and they own every damn thing, you see. But the hands and the minds of the Caucasian is lingering. You see, what do you belong to, actually? What do you actually belong to? You see, what do you actually belong to? Where did you come from? You see, where did you come from? And why would you allow yourself to stand out bold in front of the creator of the universe? You see, and put yourself in a position of supreme power. And oftentimes, the whole of you, majority of you, is hard to be protected by the elements out here. You see, imagine what's created inside of the Caucasian. You see, what if hate and disdain was a seed that was intentionally put inside of the Caucasian? You see, to make them feel the way they feel about melanated beings. You see, about melanated beings. What if all these things were set inside of them and they didn't know it? They were being used by their own people. Their own people figured out how to create something, you see, inside of you or themselves. You see, to make them feel a certain way when they get a certain age. You see, some type of worm or something start developing inside of the child when the child get a certain age, because you see, just like chattel slavery here in these Americas, just like chattel slavery, right? People say that was a long time ago. Get over it. You see, nothing is oppressing you. You're oppressing yourself. You see, I made it in the world. You see, I made it. How come you can't make it? You see, they don't know what they're saying when they say that. You're making it in a world of a Caucasian's mind. You're comfortable. You have that will to become inside of this mind, because you are that mind. If you are melanated, you are that mind that's telling you what to do. You know how to move inside of Hesaton's world, of this seated world. You see, you know how to move inside of this world. You see, while the others watch as this earth dies. Well, go through a transition that's not a smooth transition. You see, to where you can't the weather and the elements are off frequency. You see, or off frequency. You can't tell no more because your signals are off because of the food that you eat. You see, it's kind of off a little bit. You see, you got to do alternative things. You see, everything that the Most High created, the Caucasian is trying to create it also, but synthetically. You see, synthetically, they trying to reach heaven. They trying to reach the throne of God. You see, psychologically, you see, you have to do it psychologically. You have to do it internal first in order to birth that, you see, into the world. You see, you have to birth the minds. You see, when you birth the minds is going to train the body on what to do and how to move. You see, it's going to train the mind. The body's going to train the mind. I mean, the mind is going to train the body. You see, heaven is going to direct earth. You see, how is the artificial heaven being connected to the artificial earth? How are they being connected? You see, who's driving this connection? You see, what do you have that you can't take with you to the other side, but it's promoted first before your humanity? You see, or what they call humanity nowadays. You see, all the assets and materialism, you see, all these things is put before you. You see, and whatever worth that they say stands above the lesser, you put on those garments because you were privileged to concentrate and learn in their educational system, basically. You see, and you can teach others, you see, what they then wrote down inside of these books. You see, you have so much confusion out here. You see, the Most High isn't the author of confusion. Or could confusion exist without him, the Most High? Would confusion exist? How do you use confusion? You see, to get another people back in order. How do you use confusion to get another people back in order? What do you do? What is the purpose? You see, you have to put a fuse on this con. You see, you have to put a fuse on this con. So you got the fuse on the con. Now, how you going to ignite it? You can't ignite it yourself because you be telling on yourself. So you have to give it to another people. You have to give the con to another people so they can ignite it themselves, so they can be blamed, so they can go through the created fire that you created. I'm talking about the seedlings. You see, I'm talking about the seedlings. You see, one of the most beautiful things that a people can do when they in power or before their fall, you see, is to just throw up their hands. Don't surrender to man. The Caucasian don't have to surrender to man. You don't have to apologize to nothing that you've done, your ancestors done in this world. You see? You don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to apologize for chattel slavery or none of the things that you've done in the world. You see? That destroy the minds of the next generations. You see? You don't have to apologize for none of that. You see? All you have to do is make things right. You know how to do it. Make things right and fight all those that look like you, that's in power. Follow your lead. You see? Follow your lead. Something that you're not paying attention to. Because the people that you were taught to hate, you see, can never hate you. That's the thing. They can never hate you. You see, the word hate is a structure. You got to pronounce the thing first. And then study its feeling. Study what it do. What hate does. You see? And then learn on how it manifests generationally. You see? But you got to keep up that momentum of hate. You see? And prejudiceness and all these other type things. Is that a word, prejudiceness? You know, being prejudiced. You see? You will have to find this seed inside of you. You see? Find this seed inside of you. Because I think that you separated yourself, but you wasn't thinking about your generations after you. You saying to yourself, I got the power and I'm not going to give this power to no one. I will die and blow this whole earth up before I give what I hate back. You see? To their life. Before I give them back their life again. Their natural selves again. You see? Before I give them or tell them who they truly are. You see? Because I know that this is what's happening. I know that I'm reaping what I've sowed. I know that I'm reaping what I'm sowing. That's why everything is coming to us like this. And we call it intelligence. That's why everything is becoming artificial. We being told about what we being punished. About what we have done to the world. You see? So the Most High is speeding you up. You see? Speeding you up. And all those that follow you, they can see themselves leaving nature. All the nationalities of the world, they can see themselves living nature. You see? Merging into this new thing called life, digital life. They can see it. You see? But they got to hold on and praise their God to give them strength to endure. You see? To endure all the things that this thing called hate is producing out here in the world. You see? all these digitized things, you see, it's just talking, it's just telling you that we'll feed on the 8. You see, they use the word God. That's a 7, 6, and a 4. That's a 17. You see, 1 plus 7 is an 8. You see, you got 2 poles right there. And then you have a bar right in the center of that. You see, holding those poles up by themselves. And then you got the word 1, 2, and 5. 1B, you see, 1B. You see, 1Y, you see. In another world, they blame the woman. But in your world, they're going to blame you. You see, you're being blamed. You're the new Eve. You're being blamed. You see, whose apple did you bite? Whose fruit did you bite? You see, that's making you hate so much. You see, just imagine whatever you hate is going to come out inside of your intelligence. You're going to develop around this thing called hate. Did you know that? You're going to develop your purity, you see, and your greatness around this body called hate. And you're going to make it glamorous and romantic. And you're going to have people following you. You see, this development they called hate. You see, this 8. You see, with a 1, 2, and a 5. You see, what is that 1? You know, that letter H is an 8. You see, and then you got a 1 right there. That's an alpha. And then you have a Y. You see, that's hey. You didn't know that was hey, did you? It reads hey. Hey, hey. You see, hey, hey. That's what it reads. Hate reads hey. You see? Now, how do you find a needle in the haystack? You see? And who was taught to understand that eye of a needle that's inside of that haystack? You see, can you imagine? Can you imagine nothing about you will be able to fit through that vagina? Going out, where the outlet of the vagina, you see, you got to fit through. You got to fit through. You see, are you inside of a womb? You got to fit through that eye. You got to fit through that needle. It's inside of a haystack. You see, open up that Y. You see, to that 25th or that 7. You see, open up that Y. You see, you have a H and an A right there, an H and an alpha right there. You got a huh. You see, in front of that Y. You see, turn that Y into a 2 and a 5. Make it B. You see, you got a 2, that's a 20, that's a dove. And that's a dove and a 0. That's a dove and a 0. You see, 8596 equals a 1. 0. 8596. Equals a 1. You see, this hate I'm talking about, you can clean yourself up if you want to. All you have to do is find that needle that's in this haystack that's always shining. You can see it if you want to. You know where it is. The reason why you know where it is because you branded it. You called it black. And inside of that black, all things are illuminated. You see, that's not of its hue. You see? You're going to be seen in that black pool, in that black abyss. All things, all sins, all transgressions. You're going to be seen inside of that black. People around the world want to see their sins. You see, they want to see all type of abominations. You see, all these things that was given to the manifestors. You see, all of it was given. You want to see, you want to lust. You see, you want to lust after this big body. You see, you can lust, but it's not about you. It's about those that's coming after you. You see, you didn't put all of your greatness, you gave all your greatness back to the source. To that source that you call black, that black dot, you gave it all back to him. You see? Can you imagine that? You gave yourself right back to the source, not knowing that these beings, melanin, put a hedge around their essence. They can always come back home. They can always come back home. You see? Through you. You see? Through you comes these worms. You can heal yourself if you want to. You can heal yourself if you want to. All you got to do is see yourself in the people you created. In the people you created, and tell the truth of who they are so they can get back on their feet, so they can comfort you. Who's comforting you, Caucasian? Who's comforting you? You see, who's the only people on the planet comforting you? Who's the only people on the planet, beings on the planet, that's giving you a right to their body? Who are these beings that's still doing it day after day, night after night? Who are they? You see, call them out. Tell them their original names. Tell them who they really are. If you want to live on this planet, tell them.